Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with Startuptrading.com. It is July 10th, 2020, Friday. Economic news events we had this morning was unemployment change in the unemployment rate for the Canadian dollar as well as core PPI. And then at the bell, we're going to have the CB leading index for the Great Britain pound. I want to take a look at next week's news events as well because it is Friday. Just look at the Red Star news events. Bank of England Governor Bailey will be speaking on Monday at 11:30. The monetary policy statement for the yen is going to be on Tuesday, so I would expect the yen to be a mover into that event. And then on Wednesday, we do have the Bank of Canada rate statement in their monetary policy report. It's basically equivalent to their FOMC statement. We're also going to have CPI out of the New Zealand dollar, the Bank of Canada press conference, GDP out of China quarter over quarter, and then Australian markets at 9:30 on Wednesday are going to have the unemployment numbers. We're also going to have on Thursday the monetary policy statement, ECB press conference. So there's a lot of news actually for the currencies specifically next week in the yen, Canadian dollar, the Australian dollar, the euro, and even the U.S. markets with core retail sales on Thursday. So we got a little bit more of a packed news event next week compared to this week. Let's take a look. I titled this video, Oil is Moving, and there it is. This was actually something I was looking for prior. Now, we had this wedge that we've been looking for a breakdown, and we got it yesterday. We got that wedge breakdown. Now, what I want to point out that we've come down into is we have this 50% retracement from what is the swing low of June 15th to the high of the 23rd. We pulled into our 50% retracement and spent about 4 days consolidating on that $38 level. Now, when we broke out of the 50% retracement short, which was Tuesday on, what day was that? That was the 29th. We then had the low of Thursday to that Tuesday high that should have set up. Now, we never pulled back into that setup after we broke the short until now. And I did think this was a possibility. Instead, we continued to rally up at highs. So we have run into what should have been the setup last week, but we never traded it. So looks like there's resting orders. And this is also, if you look back to that Monday breakout on the 29th, that's a retest of that level, and you could also argue that it's just a 38% retracement of the higher time frame. There's a clear trend reversal here. We have an hourly leg start out of the lows, and we can head all the way back to the top of the range. Oil has been generally bullish if you look at the daily chart, if you look at the weekly chart, since the oil apocalypse where we traded negative 42. Pretty amazing. The upside target here is 43.35, and coming out of the overnight lows, the final low is put in around 6:15 this morning East Coast time, and then we had a full 50% retracement. That's totally blown through targets. We're going to have an extension. We're either going to go straight up in extensions here this morning, or we're going to pull back into our 50% retracement. But oil was moving yesterday. It moved lower after breaking out of this consolidation, took out some stops. We do want to be aware of where the full 50% retracement is above us, because it's right above us. That is from the highs of the week on Monday to low. That is a valid resistance level. So it's going to be interesting to see if we trade the resistance before the extension. I would not be interested in the extension. I'd only be interested in the full 50% retracement long. But that is the setup here, and there's a lot of volatility in oil. We sold off from highs were 39.80, sold off all the way down to 38.54, so about 130 pip move down, and then 130 pip move straight back up. We are green on the 15 minute. Let me see if we're green. No, we're not green on the 5 minute, but we are clearly having aggressive bids out of these lows. So I just wanted to start off with oil here this week. Let's move on. Just then go to the S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500, and really the VIX is something to pay attention to here, but we've had this support level at 31.12. That was in yesterday's morning trade plan, and we traded it. It was a collapse into that level, an absolute slaughter of a candle with a 46-point hourly range down into the 31.12s, and then we rotated all the way back up to the top of the range. We rallied 40 points off that level. We then retested that support level here in the overnight session, traded it right at the European Open. European traders got their fill on the extension, and we've rallied all the way back up to the opposing 50% retracement short. Another 30-point move. So we can just tell how aggressive and how significant this support level has been thus far. Now, what I would expect here is us to continue to range between 31.44 and 31.12. It is Friday, and as soon as the European close comes out, Fridays in the summer after the European close, which is going to be 11:30 East Coast time, usually get a little dull. So 31.44 half to 31.12 is our little bit of a ping pong match range. Anything below 30.83 is the full 50% retracement from long going back to June 28th. But that's really, I'm just going to keep it simple between those two major levels. If we break out of the 61.8 at 31.55s, then we're going to have a valid 50% retracement long. But if we do get up to 31.67s here, that would be the top of the range. And just the 78% retracement, I would think it'd be a hard time if we go straight up here in the morning. 31.67, I would look for a potential rollover. So between these levels, just range. If we get above, I'd see this as rejection. And then anything below 30.83, I have as just our next support level. And there really shouldn't be any major news that shifts this market one direction or the other for the S&P. Now, if we're looking at the Dow is in an entirely different sequence. The Dow had a 50% retracement short on what was Wednesday. Now it traded in the morning, and our highs were 10 o'clock. We rotated out and then rallied into them into the close. We stuck to 61, and then going into the open of Thursday, we were right at that resistance level, 25,971. We went straight down to our profit targets. And then this next traditional never traded, 25,716. We were front run, made a new low. I'm going to continue to watch 25,716 lines up with our lows from Wednesday and respect that as a resistance level here. But the Dow, if you're wanting to short a market, and I've been saying this all week, the Dow is the one to go with because it's just weaker. What market isn't a good idea to short is forever being the NASDAQ, which is a beast from the east. We have an extension that, and there's two different ways to draw an anchor. I'm still, and I'm hoping we get a massive flush one of these days, because I will load the boat if we can trade this extension, which is now at 10,468. It's a 50% retracement of a daily extension from June 10th's high to high, but we haven't been able to get down there. Yesterday, we traded the 38% retracement of the extension from the June 23rd high to high. That level was 10,575, and we went straight up. There was a series of extensions going into the close, and then in the overnight session, we held this 50% retracement. So the lows of the prior day to the high of the prior day, 10,668 was our halfway back. We traded it, rotated higher, retested here at 8 o'clock this morning, rotated back to highs, upside targets, 10,824 and 10,854. There is nothing to short in the NASDAQ. Just don't do it. It only goes down so we can go back up. That's the rule. Alrighty, moving on to the USDJPY, which has gone into collapse mode. There was, actually, let me just show you this this short. It is from the highs of the 5th of June to the low of the 23rd, and then we had a halfway back. We dipped in at the Asian Open on the 30th, and then spent most of the week inside of this halfway back short. We've totally blown through targets. We're in an intraday sequence short right now. There was a support level yesterday that I would participated on at the 107.13, but couldn't get traction. We broke out of the long. We sold into off the Asian Open, and we've gone straight down since then. Now, as a reminder, the yen has that the monetary policy report next week. I think it was Tuesday. So at any point in time, if we get a full 50% retracement short from what was Wednesday's high of last week to low, now that would be a rally all the way back up to 107.43. That would be a very valid 50% retracement short. Our higher time frame downside targets are 105.77, and let's just take a look at this daily chart. We're kind of on a cliff. There is also this major 50% retracement short that's been holding for a few months now, and if we really start to lose these lows here with that monetary policy statement coming out next week, there's absolutely a lot of room to run. So right now there's aggressive sellers. The extension is a 107 to low. The target is a 106.63, and then we'll have a same anchor new low, but we do have a breakdown here in the yen. Aussie dollar retested its support level. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these draws. Yesterday there was a breakdown into what was a retest of a 50% retracement from the lows of Wednesday, July 1st to high. Now we traded this level on Tuesday. We traded it on Wednesday. We stuck the 61 here in the overnight session, and since that has happened, we had a leg start and a halfway back. So we're beginning a series. Upon completion of the 69.70, we'll have our next measured move in the Aussie dollar, bullish above a 69.22 in the Aussie dollar. Euro has just completed. Now this was a level I was looking for earlier this week. Now what we had, this is a retest. So we had the lows from June 19th to the high there of July 6th. It was front run earlier this week. It was a 112.56. Our lows of Tuesday, 112.58. We rallied, we made a new high, and then we spent yesterday coming down into a test. We tested that level at 3 o'clock in the morning, right around the European Open. We rallied, we broke out of what was the downtrend. We came into a 50% retracement short. The early New York traders got their fill at the 112.77. We've gone straight to targets at 113.10. Flipping the script, we have completion. Next measured move is a 112.92, and the higher time frame targets are all the way up at 113.86. The pound, I was hoping we'd get this deeper pullback. We have not gotten it. The pound has a, I believe it's our series, earlier in this week was just the lows of Tuesday to high. Probably what we ran into. Yeah, we have a halfway back long for the week in the pound. Tuesday's low to high has traded as the overnight low once again at 3 a.m. That was our reversal time frame right at the European Open, and then we have held a 50% retracement from long. I'm still just going to look at the halfway back from the low of the day to high as a support level. That's a 126.02 right now. 126.02. The CAD has run into a retest of its 50% retracement short. This 50% retracement short is a 136.16. It was from the highs of June 26, drawn to the low of July 6. Now we tested level Wednesday. We came to the bottom of the range. There was a support level at the 135.01s, and we ripped straight back up into a second test, and now we've fallen back down into the lows. Now what's going to be important here is the battles of the bulls and the bears. The 135.60 is a halfway back long from the lows of the week, and depending on what we do there is going to determine, are we going to stay below 136.16 and continue to move down to our target, or is the support bid off the 135.01 valid, and do we continue higher? So 135.60 is an important level of support here. We did have that Canadian news event today. So volatility in there, and out of that event was sold, but not aggressively. Not an incredible volatility expansion there. So we'd have the 135.60 as a support level. And then moving on to gold and silver, which both of them came into what is their halfway back long for the week. Now, ideally, I want to see them break above their opposing 61s. Right now, we are holding the opposing 50% retracement short in gold. So I'd be a little cautious with this next measured move long. We do have the last leg start being up. If anything, 1802, depending on how it trades, could definitely act as support. It's just a halfway back from Thursday's low to high, 1808.2. And also with the current high is just this old profit target at 1817. But technically this support hasn't been validated. So I definitely want to be a little cautious here with gold. Probably going to be more on the just the witnessing side on that market. And silver, which broke out into the highs of 2020 here this week. Traded once again the 50% retracement long for the week, just the lows of the week to high, and we have yet to break out of. We have not broken out of that opposing move. But as soon as we break that 61, longs from lows become valid, and we have another new upside profit target at 1973. 1973 is the high of 2019. So 1975 is that high. So our current pullback halfway back long for the week targets highs of 2019. And once we clear that high of 2019, then we got highs of 2016, and then it's off to the races. So I'm going to continue to, like I said, pay attention closely, because these markets are breaking out of highs. They're just like the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ is just even more beastly than any market. The NASDAQ, all longs in the NASDAQ can be trusted for now. I mean, it just keeps working over and over and over again. But that's going to wrap up my morning trade plan. If you enjoyed this content, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have anybody who's interested in learning how to trade the right way, send them my way. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the links below. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I'm only going to trade the morning here. So take care, and I'll see you guys Monday. My morning trade plan. If you enjoyed this content, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have anybody who's interested in learning how to trade the right way, send them my way. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the links below. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I'm only going to trade the morning here. So take care, and I'll see you guys Monday.